Nice. Welcome to Carter's Retro Reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing... I'll tell you what we won't be reviewing. Hannah Montana for the PSP. I don't know how I got that. I tell you what, I certainly didn't pay money for that. But I have Primal Rage for the Saturn, right, guys? This is really what we're going to be reviewing today. I certainly have been playing Hannah Montana on the PSP and enjoying every second of. I haven't been doing that at all. I have been playing Primal Rage, and I think my credibility has been restored. No one knows that I've been playing Hannah Montana on the PSP. Wait, are we off? I'm going to be brutally honest with this review, and some of you might not like what I have to say. Thumbs me down if you absolutely have to. I mean, I too would be annoyed to say the least if some clown had a YouTube channel and shared a difference of opinion with me. I'd find where he lived, burn down his house, hack the government's computers and erase any information of this person so he never existed, kill his cat and his family, and send anthrax to major political figures with the return address being this person's address so he can rot in jail for life and give some time to reevaluate how wrong his opinion was. If you think that's all a little extreme, consider that this game sparked a lot of controversy at the time due to its own violence level, and some parent was outraged when her son... It's always a woman that's outraged.
I wash myself with a rag on a stick.
Wait, no, wrong clip, sorry.
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
Ah, there we go, much better. Was good enough to execute Chaos's Golden Shower fatality, and then she started some campaign against the game. So the SNES version had it removed. Remember kids, video games cause violence. The characters you have in this game are Armadon, Blizzard, Sauron, Talon, Chaos, Diablo, and Vertigo. The game was developed by Atari for the arcade, and then Probe took over the development for the Mega Drive/Genesis, 32X, PlayStation, Saturn, Game Gear, Game Boy, Jaguar CD, Amiga, and 3DO. On the Saturn, it was released in all three territories. The game was published by Time Warner and released in 1995, except for my copy, which was the Saturn's PAL copy, which was released in 1996. Presentation of the game is pretty good across the board. The menu presentation is consistent with the theme, and it's all laid out well, with plenty of options to offer us. The theme is strong, and the look is something quite different to most fighters we've reviewed thus far. I mean, definitely for the better. One thing I always felt about Mortal Kombat was things like the health bar were so vanilla in presentation, but this offers both functionality and a really cool theme that ties in well with the game. While I mentioned all the versions of this game, I've only played one or two and both seem to pale in comparison to the Saturn version. It seems about as loyal to the arcades as possible. Graphically we're seeing good detailing in the sprites except perhaps the people, but they never look great to begin with. Great parallax scrolling, no dithering, and animation is mostly pretty good. I always kind of felt that animation, even in the arcades, never felt 100%, but this emulates what we see in the arcades pretty damn well. Colours have a range on them that is, quite frankly, surprising. It gives us a sense of gloom and doom, which is successful, but more impressively is the use of other brighter colours without pulling away from the feel of the game. Our characters have such bright colours that they look homo with a smattering of flaming, in a positive way of course. Sound in this game really ties in well. The mix of sound and sound effect is spot on, and the whole feeling of a new era is upon us was encapsulated very well. I'm not sure if this is something I'm going to remember, but it certainly serves its purpose. The sound effects of the dinosaur attack sounds are both accurate and threatening, just the way we like it. So far you've heard pretty positive things about this game, so where is the disparity of opinion? Right here in gameplay. After playing this for 4 hours straight, it gave me plenty of time to think. A lot of the appeal of this game is 90s Saturday morning cartoon, so weird that we'll never see anything like it again. It's eating diabetes-inducing cereal or bacon and eggs if it was a Sunday morning, not giving a shit about having nutritional information crammed down our throats and made to feel bad about eating said foods, playing video games all day because, Well, I could, and I had nothing better to do. And the sunshine cracking through the trees in the wee hours of the early morning at my parents' place. It was a complete product of its time with the violence controversy, and that too is part of the appeal. These days, violence is as synonymous with video games as ex-girlfriends are to anal sex, or pub music is to Brown Eyed Girl. I probably should have just used a second comparison. So if you're going to take away the violence in the video game, is it still okay? Well, I feel the button mashing is as reactive as US are to bouts of terrorism, which is a good thing. But the bottom line is the combat doesn't feel like all that in a bag of chips. It's still an excellent game that I'll recommend, as this is probably the best version you'll find on a console, but the gameplay after a while kind of feels, well, boring. Once you get past the violence and the fact that your fighters are dinosaurs, which, by the way, is pretty fucking cool, you're not left with a whole lot. I shouldn't feel like this, as just about every fighting game I've given a good review has a fair chunk of nostalgia added to it, and this is no different. But at the same time, the combos feel like, whatever. If I learn them, great. It gives the game more depth, but there's no extravagance to them. It just allows you to wail on the enemy longer. And the super moves, well, they just don't feel exciting. It has just as much replayability as any other fighter with a 2-player, and nostalgia will also play a part too. When friends come over, they'll see it and they'll all be like, "Oh man, I remember this game!" You'll play it for a while until everyone's past the point of caring. Just like when they all see the original Wipeout, play it until the game they really remember is Wipeout 2097. Would I recommend this game? Even though I didn't find longevity, it's still a classic. For those who have fond memories of this game, it'll come flooding back to you. Even though it's a yes from me, please be aware that there might be a disjoint from how you remember it to how it is now. The violence and gameplay in this game isn't as exciting as it once was, even though Australia's violence policies in video games still seem to be stuck in 1994.